Every story has a secret. Some should have stayed buried. The truth hides in the dark, and once you hear it, you can't unhear it. This is Midnight Hour Files, hosted by Dee Dee. Welcome to the Midnight Hour.
Midnight Hour Files podcast, Colleen Stan case. You're listening to Midnight Hour Files, where real stories are darker than fiction. Before we begin, if you want to support the podcast, help keep these stories coming, and unlock more content, visit the link in my bio. Tonight's case is one of the most disturbing examples of psychological control ever recorded. Because this victim was not held by chains, but by fear. In 1977, 20-year-old Colleen Stan left her home in Eugene, Oregon. She was on her way to a friend's birthday party in California. She didn't have a car, so she decided to hitchhike. At the time, hitchhiking was still fairly common. Colleen had done it before, and believed she could trust her instincts. But that day, her instincts failed her. A car pulled over. Inside were a man, a woman, and a baby. They introduced themselves as Cameron Hooker, his wife Janice, and their child. To Colleen, this looked safe. A family, not a threat. So she got in. At first, everything seemed normal. They made small talk. They drove along quietly. Nothing felt wrong. Until Cameron suddenly pulled the car over. He turned around, pulled out a knife, and abducted her. In that moment, everything changed. He forced a wooden box over her head. Tight. Dark, with no way to see or breathe comfortably. Then he bound her and placed her inside a coffin-like box in the back of the car. This was only the beginning. Colleen was taken to their home in Red Bluff, California. There, her life became something unimaginable. Cameron Hooker locked her inside a small wooden box, barely large enough to move. She would spend up to 23 hours a day inside it, in complete darkness, with no sense of time, no control, no escape. But what makes this case even more disturbing is not just the physical confinement. It's the psychological control. Cameron created a lie. He told Colleen that a powerful underground organization was watching her. He called it the company. He said they were everywhere, watching her, listening to her. And if she tried to escape, they would find her and kill her family. There was no such organization, but Colleen believed it. Because fear can feel real enough to become truth. Over time, she stopped resisting. Not because she couldn't leave, but because she believed she couldn't. If you're listening right now, and you're into true crime stories like this, take a quick second to support the podcast by visiting the link in my bio. It helps keep these stories coming. Years passed. Colleen was sometimes allowed out of the box, but only under strict control. She was forced to follow rules, obey commands, and live in constant fear. At times, she was even allowed to leave the house. And this is where the story becomes almost impossible to understand. She visited her family, sat with them, talked with them, appeared normal. And then she returned, back to her captor, back to the box. No chains, no chains, no locked doors. Just control. Experts later described this as extreme psychological manipulation, a form of coercion so powerful it replaced her sense of reality. Meanwhile, Cameron's wife, Janice, knew what was happening. For years, she stayed silent, until eventually, she couldn't anymore. In 1984, after 7 years, Janice went to the police. She told them everything about the box, about the company, about the abuse. And just like that, the illusion shattered. Colleen was finally freed. The truth became clear. There was no organization, no watchers, no one coming after her family. Just one man and a lie. So powerful, it controlled her for 7 years. Cameron Hooker was arrested and later sentenced to over 100 years in prison. Janice received immunity in exchange for her testimony. Colleen Stan survived, but the psychological scars lasted far longer than the captivity. This case remains one of the most chilling reminders that control doesn't always come from force. Sometimes it comes from fear. And sometimes the most powerful prison is the one built inside the mind. If you made it to the end and you want to support Midnight Hour Files, visit the link in my bio. Your support helps me keep creating and bringing you more stories like this. This has been Midnight Hour Files, where the truth is hour darker than fiction. Follow for more stories that scars with you long after the night ends.
Some truths never rest, and some stories are never over. This has been Midnight Hour Files. Sleep carefully.